Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tech Jobs Fair Switzerland. Warm welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining us. And we have a talk now with Matt Ward, whom I'll describe as a serial entrepreneur for now. Hi, Matt. How are you doing?
Pretty good, Rita. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Thank you for coming. I'm good myself. Can't complain. So more in detail, but briefly, Matt is also a Venturelab startup advisor and business consultant for strategy and growth, and an ex-angel investor and VC. So he helps founders and businesses change the world for the better with experience growth, strategy, marketing, fundraising tactics. You can find more about Matt at mattward.io. And I would like to pass it on to you, Matt, now. Please go ahead. The title of your presentation is How to Design Virality and Word of Mouth into Your Product, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to start? The stage is yours.
Let's do it. So viral's the big word today. Everyone wants to go viral. And the thing is, it's either you think about it being too easy in terms of, oh, I post something and it just goes crazy, or incredibly hard. It's impossible. There's no way to do this. How can I do it? Well, what we're doing today, we're designing virality into your product so that it sells itself, so that you create something and you don't have to spend thousands, millions on Facebook and Google ads. You build something where your customers are marketing it for you, word of mouth marketing. To do that, we're going to go through a couple of steps. And we aren't going to be able to cover all of them. So if you go to mattward.io/viral, I put together a guide where you can get the rest. But first step when it comes to creating a viral product is it's got to be awesome. It doesn't matter how many hacks and tricks you put into the product. If your product sucks, people aren't going to share it because then they look bad sharing the product. And nobody wants to look bad. People share things for one of two reasons, either to make themselves look good in front of their friends and family, or to complain about or attack something. So we need to make them look good. End of the story. So to do that and make sure your product is awesome before we move on to anything else, you need to focus on the NPS, so the Net Promoter Score. That's when you ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer people to our product? 1 being, God, this is the worst thing I've ever used. 10 being, oh my God, this is incredible. And if you're less than a 7, it really means that customers either hate your product or don't care about it. You need to be in that 8 to 10 range for any of this stuff to matter, because that means you have a product that people like, that people find valuable, and people are willing to share. Then let's get into actually designing the product. So the big thing, I like to focus on organic marketing much more so than advertising. And that comes down to referrals. There's a lot of different types of referrals. We're going to jump first into direct referrals. And of that, there's 2 different types. There's the incentivized referrals, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Invite a friend to Airbnb and you both get a free night. Dropbox, add another user and you get 15 gigabytes more of storage. That can be a really, really strong way to grow the network and to get it to be something that grows organically. That's what I call a free incentivized referral. So they're both getting something for free. Now, there's the other thing. This is a little more business-oriented in terms of finding other businesses to promote you or other content creators, but an incentivized paid referral. This would be something like affiliates. So I ran a podcast in the past telling people how I built an Amazon business. I scaled it quickly. I had software that I used. I told people, here's the software I use, and you can get a 30% discount for signing up if you guys want to use it in your business. I got paid to do that. That's a paid incentivized referral. Paid incentivized referrals are much easier in terms of building them up. There's more of a motivation, but that's going to happen more from a business to a consumer perspective, from a podcast, from a blog to a consumer. That's the Amazon links, your associate Amazon affiliate links that get people clicking over to the product page. The other side is much more on the friends and family, getting people to share and grow things. Every strategy is not going to work for your business and your product. There's going to be specific things that can work well and others that don't. So we're going to go through some of the techniques that exist, and you're going to have to find out what works well for your product. So when you go on to the other type of referral, there's the value add referral. So we've had incentivized, free, and paid. Now we're moving on to value add referrals. And what is a value add referral? Well, if I'm on Facebook and my friends aren't, Facebook sucks. If I have WhatsApp and my friends don't, stinks. Slack and the other teams are not on it, exactly. So when you create a product where it has those network effects, it's not only communication products, but largely communication products have this effect where the more people you bring into the network, the more value it is for you, which kind of plays into the other side of things like a blockchain, fintech, cryptocurrency. The more people I get on, the more Bitcoin is worth, which is why it's such a great system for growing and scaling, because it creates those People that are incentivized to bring other people in, not just incentivized from free stuff, but incentivized from the value they create. Now let's talk reason number 2, or technique number 2, and that's social sharing. This is what we said earlier. People share things on social media for one of 2 reasons. Either to make themselves look good and show off, usually as casually as they can, because they don't want to be seen as showing off, but they actually want to be showing off. Like, look at this guy who burned 3,500 calories while going on a run. Or, oh, hey, look at this awesome dessert that I got from my boyfriend at the restaurant we went out to. People share things to look good or to attack or complain about something. And we need to give them the right opportunities to do that. There's the organic style, which is more what we were talking about here. That's the, oh, Johnny's so incredible, he got an A on his report card kind of thing, where people are just sharing that because it makes them look good and they like to brag about their kids. It's the attacking Donald Trump because you hate what he's doing, etc. It's whatever it is to win brownie points with the customers community. How do you make them look good in front of their friends? You need to think about that and then have calls to action at specific points throughout the product's usage and life cycle where they would look good or where they would be incentivized to share that product or service. Anywhere where they're doing something, accomplishing something, and it makes them look good. In terms of enabling that, you can add buttons on the side. You can add one-click. So for instance, like a one-click share from Instagram to Facebook. You can have something like this, which I built into my articles, a click-to-tweet link, where people see something, they like it, they click it, it automatically tweets to Twitter. Anything that you can do to really simplify it and make that easier, the better. Now then there's the encouraged type of sharing. And when you're encouraging people to share, you're kind of putting a little bit more behind it. We've all seen the campaigns of show your support by doing hashtag save the baby whales so that we can, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a lot of different ones like that in terms of people trying to play to your weaknesses or desire to look good in front of others, but kind of having it more of it's got a bit more of a push to it. People are really trying to be a little bit more manipulative. One of them is, I'm sharing this because, et cetera, et cetera. The other is the call to action. So I'm, as a brand, or I as a business, or I as a product, are giving you an excuse or trying to really actively encourage you. Share this recipe on social media so your friends know that you can actually cook. Something like that. Click here to share the number of miles you've biked on your Peloton and how many calories. The subtle message, I work out. Click here to share your Kiva donation on Facebook. The subtle message, I'm a good person. Click here to share your recipe on social media. The subtle message, I can cook well. All of those, you have that call to action, and that's going to build the buzz. That's going to be what gets customers marketing your product so you don't have to do anything yourself. The other side of that is having more of an incentivized social sharing. This isn't used as often, but it can be done really, really well. Tag us on Instagram or post a video on Facebook and get entered in to win a free raffle for et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or for every 10 shares that we have, or every 10 likes on our Facebook page, we're going to plant a tree, et cetera, or donate X and X and X to charity. Whatever you can do to create those incentives for people, especially the sharing side of things, liking on Facebook or Google or Twitter, that's okay. But getting people to share and get it in front of their network, that's how you really build in that virality that can grow, scale, and becomes your flywheel that powers the product. And that's what we're trying to build here, is the flywheel for your product. Because every percentage we increase for the amount of referrals that people have, the amount of times they share, the amount of people they bring into the network, that's exponential growth over time. Even if it's only 1 or 2%, that's really scaling up over time. So to summarize, here are the questions you need to ask your team. How do you help your customers or users look good or cool in front of their friends? How do you encourage users to share and engage your product and content? And how easy is it for users to share and engage your content? That's very important as well, because remember, people are lazy and you've got to make it super, super easy for them. If you want to see a bit more detailed strategy on this, again, you can go to mattward.io/viral, that's VIRAL, or just /free. Same thing, it'll get you there, it'll get you this, it'll get you my guide to acquiring and retaining customers, pitch decks, etc. Now let's move on to the third key to virality, or the third way you can design in virality. And this is daily usage or product features. This is something that's a little bit harder for some products, but the ones that really get it right, or the ones where it's built in, it's incredibly powerful, because seeing is believing. When you see something happening, it's hard not to get excited. Like the first time you saw someone drive up in an Uber and you're like, oh my God, do you seriously have your own chauffeur? And they're like, no, I got to tell you about this awesome service called Uber. and you're like, oh my God, I have to get that. And you download it immediately. Or you're at the networking event and you're meeting people and you reach into your pocket, or someone else does, and they go, shit, I'm out of business cards. They pull out their phone and show you the LinkedIn app. Here, let's scan instead. Show me. People are like, oh my gosh, that's so much easier than carrying business cards. That's the real world effect. There's the notorious Netflix and chill. Hey, do you want to come over and watch a movie? Well, once you've done that, you never go back to regular television where you have advertising all the time. $10, sign me up. You're out with friends and you're buying, everybody paid for something and now you're splitting the bill. Hey, how about we just split the bill? We can use Venmo. It's these social situations where you see the product in action. How do you make those or engineer those into your product? Again, some of these are hard to design, but if you're able to think about some of that ahead of time in terms of ways you can have customers interacting with the product in front of other customers, especially making it look cool, that's a great way to build in that real world virality. And it's just something that not a lot of businesses or apps focus on. And when it does, it really sells itself. Now let's get into another version of virality. This is one that's not necessarily used as often, but it can be super, super powerful. And this is direct sharing or sending something. And this is the easiest way to demonstrate this is really with an example. And now a great example would be money. I could send you money via Venmo or PayPal. You tell me what your account is, I send the money over to you. And who's gonna say no to free money? Hey, can I gotta send you $50. What's your Venmo? I don't have it. Well, what's your email? Okay, send. But how do I get it? Just check your email. They check the email, they download, oh, now they're a user of Venmo, and suddenly they're hooked for life. Same thing with file sharing. You need to send a file to someone. Well, I'm gonna upload it to Google Drive or WeTransfer, Dropbox, maybe it's a contract, DocuSign. I send it over to someone. They have no other option other than to say yes and to create their account. Suddenly you have a new user, a new account, and they've seen how valuable that is. There's a very good chance that they're going to start using that and also sharing it to other people as well. Location sharing, same thing. Hey, share your location so I can pick you up on Uber, or so we can find each other on Google Maps, or so WhatsApp can tell me where you're at. Those type of things are the just absolute does of when someone does that, or when a product or an app has that built in, that creates that viral effect of the user-to-user growth. It doesn't always work, and it doesn't always apply to products because certain products just don't have that effect to them. But there is another hack around that, even for the products that aren't that great. There's the one button that all of us see and some of us click. Share this with a friend. Maybe it's an e-birthday card that you created for someone. Maybe it's an email or something that you found. Maybe it's a new product that you're using or a new app that you're using. Just occasionally having a call to action pop up that says something like, share this to a friend, or wouldn't your friend like, or something like this. Having that call to action right in what I call the sharing sweet spot, right in the customer journey where people have been going through, they've been using the product, they got the value out of the product, they're like, yes, this is the coolest thing ever. I just made my first ever birthday card. And then share this. Got hit already. It didn't even, oh, you have to, yes, I got the dopamine ready. Didn't to take any drugs, I got the dopamine hit of using the product, and now I'm going to share that so other people can as well. And I can look good in front of my friends because I'm showing them this awesome card I designed. Freemium. Freemium could be a great way to grow, especially if you show your company logo. So this is a way where you can have a product, freemium, most of you I imagine will know, products free or there's paid for extra features, etc. Very common with apps, services, pretty much all businesses that are digital at this point. Anything where the cost is essentially zero, you can offer a freemium model where it doesn't cost you any extra. When it comes to physical products, this is much harder, but there may be some ways to hack this as well. But we've all seen something like this. You get the email and it says, oh, this was the sent by MailChimp with the little monkey icon, or the customer service pop-up on your favorite e-commerce store, powered by Intercom, or you are reading that blog of that blogger you really like, the mom blogger, or whatever it is, built on WordPress in the footer. These companies offer free versions of their product because they know that people are free marketing. It's kind of like when you walk around wearing a company's brand right on your shirt. You're free marketing for everyone else. And because of that, you're bringing in more people. That's why MailChimp is, I think they're still private. 11 million plus users, 4 billion people they reach worldwide, and that was as of 2019. They spread like wildfire. Obviously, that only works really for digital and SaaS products, but this is something where if it could fit into your business, it definitely makes sense to explore. I will say I've worked with clients, I've worked with startups and businesses where this is actually negative. It cannibalizes their paying users. So if people can get the free, why sign up for the paid? So you really need to run some tests on this. And I wouldn't promise lifetime pricing for anything. But if you run the experiments and the numbers come back positive, it's definitely worth considering keeping freemium as a part of your product and your business's growth strategy, because it's free to you. It can help you grow and create those viral effects. And it means you're not spending your money on advertising. So you're still getting the customers, even if you're losing opportunity cost of some paying customers. Collaboration. Let's talk collaboration, because nothing beats teamwork. So I know I'm on Slack. Probably a lot of you guys are on Slack as well. You probably got invited by one of your coworkers. They sent you a message, or they said, you got to get on Slack so we can do this, because let's face it, everyone hates email. And Slack had this dirty little viral effect of sneaking their way into organizations, just like that, through individual users and individual teams. And eventually it spreads, because it is so much better than email. And at some point, the IT department or the CEO, they see this and they're like, oh, we don't have any control of this. We need to take control of this. And then they sign up for Slack so that they don't have employees posting things they don't like, or so they can have extended versions of the history so they can see the product longer. That's a product where collaboration especially works very well with freemium models. You give it away for free and people share it to their team because it gets more value out of it. I share a Google Doc with you so you can edit it. I email you a task on Asana so you can work on that for our project. And then suddenly you're hooked. And when you're hooked, the organization becomes hooked, because when someone tries to get you off of Slack, all the employees revolt and say, no, we're not going back to email. Email sucks. Slack is much better for us. That means you've kind of snuck your way into there, and now you win. The company has to pay, and you have a customer essentially for life, because going off would mean really ticking off the employees and screwing with the business. Not all products seem to be inherently obvious for this. For instance, another company that does this well, but you wouldn't necessarily think about it, is Canva. Canva is kind of like Photoshop for dummies online. So you can use it. You can find images to create Instagram headers, create YouTube thumbnails. You can create business cards, but you could also create flyers and all kinds of things. And what they realized early on was, by enabling people to share whatever it was they were creating, some people would share it. And suddenly they found that they were getting shared between teams, and they were getting shared between businesses and being used for business purposes. And then they add the business user case. Now suddenly you've got an enterprise or a business case. People are paying you money for using that because they want to have multiple users, they want to have permissions, etc. And you've built a business with that freemium and collaboration model that, generally speaking, wouldn't be thought of to work like that. And those are just a couple of the viral ways you can grow your business, or what you can design into your product so it literally markets itself, so you don't have to spend all of your time on marketing and advertising. It looks like Rita wants to cut me off, so I'm going to slow down here for a sec.
Yeah, I could unmute myself first. Thank you for wrapping it up so nicely and quickly. Yes, we are reaching our time. I'm going to show on stage one question, one only, and maybe we can finish our session with this. Do you see it, Matt? So which strategy helps founders and businesses to reach larger audiences, increase revenues, improve business models, and processes? Maybe in one sentence, could you answer this, Matt, please?
Yeah, I would say there's like 1,000,001 strategies. So what I help companies do is find the right strategy for their business model, their industry, their business, and their consumer base, because it's going to be different for everyone. There's not an Instagram or Facebook or this is the absolute answer. You've got to find the right thing. Of course, it comes down to building a great product. If you guys need help with that kind of stuff, again, mattward.io/viral, you can download all of this guides and some other stuff that should help you with that.
Yeah, and another thing, people can also go and meet you at the booth section. So the exhibitors on the top part of your screen, you will find all the exhibitors today. So scroll down, find Matt, and have a talk with him. 20 minutes are just, very short for all that we could have talked about. So thank you again, Matt, for being here. It was really interesting. Lots of things to now go deeper into. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. And everybody, thank you for being here, and stick around for the next talk. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Matt.
I'll see you in the booth. Yeah, absolutely.